Hello, my name is Beth McDonald Stone, and I'm an avid knitter and knitwear designer coming to you from Bermuda. And it is not sweater weather here. Thankfully, I've got the air conditioning on. I can do this no problem. It's still pretty hot, but I wanted to show off this design. It's actually an older design. That's the original one under here. And this is the one that I just finished knitting, and I'm really thrilled with it. And just even as I've started, Luna wants to go outside. So let me pause here one sec. Okay, that could be very auspicious or very inauspicious, but so hopefully we'll have limited stops and starts to this, but no promises. With the air conditioning on, all the doors for looking outside and watching the view for Luna are closed. So anyway, so pardon her if she requests help. Anyways, so yeah, so what I'm wearing this sweater for today and showing this one is, it's an old design of mine called Clebrig or Clebrig. I really love it. It's a really comfy, cozy design. It's knit with a worsted weight yarn, so it's actually a really quick knit. I don't know how long I took for this one, but I certainly wasn't rushing in maybe 2 weeks. Similarly to that, but I think that was 2 years ago that I knit that one. I should probably I'll just take this off so that you can see the yoke here. Yeah, so you can see it's the same yoke, same size. Same yarn, just different colors. So what I used for this is Magpie Fibers, Nest Worsted. And let's start with that one. For this one I used Midnight Velvet is the main color, and then Castaway, Evil Beavers at Twilight, Natural, Midnight, and Twilight Rose. So those are all there. And then for this one I've used the main color is Twilight Dark, Castaway, Blue Green, Natural, Undyed, and then I forgot to order the other one, so I used Stash, and it's Lamull garn, Rauma Lamull color 26, so I had to hold that triple. So that was a bit of a hiccup. I find when I knit my own stuff, I tend to not really follow the pattern very clearly. And I think my patterns are pretty clearly written out, but of course I do. Oh, I know. I don't need to look that up. And of course I totally do need to look it up. So I did knit this one with the wrong needle size, but it turned out to be the right gauge in the end. Sometimes yarn just wants to be what it wants to be, and it wants to be this gauge. So I wanted to be here. So I'm thrilled with that, and I'm thrilled with how it worked out. That one's really lovely. It's amazing. I'm really craving crisp colors these days. I should say that, but maybe I'm not. I just like how this looks so different because it is crisp. I think that's really refreshing and cool. This is a little bit more muted and kind of murky colors, and I love how that worked out too. It's top down circular. It's a circular yoke, really simple with a boxy fit. As you can see, it's really, really, really oversized. I like that fit. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I really like boxy fits with slim sleeves. The slim sleeves aren't as much of an integral thing for right now. Right now, I'm really into just boxy fits. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's fashion, like the world is calling for that. I know the sort of Scandi, sort of slouchy style is popular, but I'm not sure if that's it or it's just me in my stage of life. I just really want boxy fits to be as cozy as possible. I'm retired now from working, so I don't dress up. So maybe I can kind of lean into being comfortable more, and that's what I'm craving for my sweaters. So, yeah, it is stranded color work. There are only 2 colors knit in every row, so there's no worries about 3. Like I said, I did forget this subtle one that runs through the middle. It gives sort of a shade through the middle of both the 3 sections, and I duplicate stitched the top one without ripping it back, pretty much because I'd never done a duplicate stitch around a whole area and I wanted to try that. It was an accident, of course, first, like I wouldn't have done it had I known. But I did duplicate stitch it. I held it double instead of triple, which I held there. It sits differently you can see how it sits differently. It's fine. I mean, talk about, if you do duplicate stitch, it's definitely going to be the dominant color. It's going to sit above the other stitches just because of, order in which it's been applied. It worked in a pinch. Should I have ripped it back? I realized I'd forgotten it when I got around here, or it needed it until I got around here, I should say. So I ripped this back and knitted it in properly from here down. I didn't rip this back. There was, you know, a lot of increases here. One increase row with a lot of increases, and I didn't want to go back on it. A bit of laziness and a bit of, you know, trying something new. I love trying something new. I totally advocate for it. I know now it's another tool in my toolbox, so that if I did forget something, it's not a big deal. It's probably not as good as the rest of, you know, as it doesn't lie as nicely as the rest. Maybe I should have just held this singly. Now I'm saying I'm holding it doubly because the Rauma Lamull garn is like a very fine fingering weight. And so to give it the same body as the Magpie Fibers nest worsted, I held it triple, where everything else is held singly. It's a lovely, lovely yarn. Really bouncy, really, really beautiful, and makes beautiful stitches. I think this is an 18 stitch gauge, but don't quote me. Everything is down below, the names and the yarns, and then of course you can see that more, excuse me, frog in my throat, more particular stitch gauges and stuff like that in the pattern notes and everything like along those lines. So yeah, so it's a really nice, it's really quick, it's really a bouncy yarn, and it's very elastic, so that when you're knitting it, it's really, it moves really nicely. The elasticity on the needles is really lovely. I really enjoyed it, which is why I did it again the exact same. I don't usually, I'm really a big believer in I collect yarn, so I have stash. So I'm a big believer in just finding alternatives and using what you have. But Magpie Fiber occasionally comes out with great sales, and in the spring they had a 25% off sale, and I really loved this sweater and wanted to knit it again. So I took advantage of that sale. So keep your eyes peeled. Magpie Fibers is great. I know I talk a lot when I'm knitting socks. I love their sock yarn, the, what's it called? Swanky sock. Love it, love it, love it. Love, love, love this nest worsted, and can't recommend it enough. And I have worn this one a lot, and I don't think it shows really anywhere at all. So that's great. The one thing I did notice with this really dark blue is it let off a lot of color when I was blocking it or rinsing it, washing it. So I didn't walk away from it. I literally just put it in the water. I could see it was letting off a lot of color. I had anticipated that because some was coming off my fingers when I was knitting. And I just kind of submerged it a couple times, lifted it out of the water, drained the water, did that 2 or 3 times, and then spun it out. And I have a spinner. Recommend that for anyone if you have the space and the budget. It's not, they're not expensive. I think I bought it on Amazon. I used to use the salad spinner. You know, one of those where you pull the string and it spins around. I had a really big one, and that was great. And then I bought a electric spinner. It's in my bathroom, so I can literally just put it in my shower when I spin out a sweater and or any garment, and then it really drains a lot of the water, and it really helps. I found that when I was rolling things up in a towel, I couldn't get out as much water as I'd wanted to, and it would take a long time to dry here. So the spinners are great. So salad spinner totally works, and then I have an electric spinner found off of Amazon, not expensive, just it's kind of bulky. I mean, our bathroom was an old back entry and storage cupboard that got modified, so it's sort of a larger, strangest shape. So there's definitely a little corner I can put it in, and it's not in the way. But I could see if someone had a more classic bathroom setup, it'd be bulky, it'd be awkward. You'd probably want it near laundry or something. But anyways, spinners. A salad spinner is great. I did that for years. So yeah, so this dark blue bled a lot. It didn't get on anything else, like it didn't get in the whites or anything, you know, here. I'm glad for that. But I didn't let it sit in the color. So, you know, just be careful. I think with every color work, I do stand over it once I get it immersed in the water, or submerged, I should say. I think you do have a sense when you're knitting it, something will come off on your fingertips. I usually have oily hands because I like putting cream on it. I don't like the feeling of knitting when my hands are dry. So I put cream on it. I feel like that would also make any color lift. And so I had an inclination that this might happen. I definitely knew not to leave the room, and I definitely knew to stand over it and make sure. Pulled it out a few times, and then laid it out to block. So it didn't continue to run. It didn't stain the towels that I put it on once it's been spun out. But it will, you know, these dark, dark, dark saturated colors, I think especially blues, are prone for running. It's just what it is. You know, Magpie Fibers Nest Worsted, still a favorite. I would highly, 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 or I was about to say wholeheartedly recommend it. Yeah, so I'll stand up because I'll show you the full kind of boxy fit. I do love that. This is the exact same here with the fitted sleeves. And you'll notice, if you've been with me for a while, I had this fabric from my interior design business in my previous life, and I made it into the skirt, and it's great. I was really not wanting to cut into the fabric pattern of these fun tigers. You can see the fun tiger. It's a very big print. It's made for window treatments. And so I didn't put any pockets in. There are no seams here. I literally just did one seam in the back so that the motif wouldn't be broken up. So there's no pockets in it, which is kind of a bummer, but I have a bit more of this left and I could try and do something else. But yeah, it's just an elastic band. It's really simple. I'm really just learning. I'm really just fooling around with it. The elastic band, the color is not great for this. It's as good as I could get locally here. We don't have much in the way of options for sewing supplies or knitting supplies at all, and it was the best I could do. But I have a bit more yarn. See, I'm a knitter. Fabric that I'd like to try another one, and maybe I would do it so there are side seams and then do insert inseam pockets, but that's that. So this is a Clarence House fabric. I can't remember what it's called. It's a very famous one of theirs. I think something tiger. And you can see the fun tiger there. When I did wash and dry the fabric, the chintz finish, the sheen came off, which no big deal. I don't think I really want a skirt with a sheen on it. And the fabric became super drapey, so I was thrilled with that. I do think some of the color went, so I kind of feel like, you know, if I wear it and wash it a lot, it might fade a bit, but that's cool too. Yeah. And then when I was in town at the one sewing store, which is great, it's called Quija in Hamilton, they had just the tiniest bit of this, I think a yard and a half. I measured it was actually 60 inches long. That was all they had. And so I made this skirt too, much in the same way with one seam in the back, and then I followed very casually. So the basic concept was I did a rolled, I pulled this up a bit higher than my natural waist on this mannequin, but another elastic waist. I rolled the top. I spent a lot of time playing with making sure that everything lined up with the plaid. That was really fun. And then I just used the pockets, the patch pockets from Merchant and Mills Matilda skirt, and just did some fun patch pockets here. So I think this is a wool. I think I'm going to need to clean this skirt. Any sort of friction, it sort of seems to kind of fuzz up and bobble up, but you know, whatever. I'm a knitter. I'm good with wool. It doesn't bother me. So I'm excited about that. That's a really fun skirt for winter. And I thought it looked great with this Clebrig top. So, oh, hold on a sec. Luna wants in. Her little nose. And she's in. She likes to go and sunbathe, like literally soak up the heat on the concrete driveway out back, and then roasts herself and then comes in and lies down and then cools off. And she'll do that on repeat through the day. It's not my cup of tea, but anyways. Just to finish up the Clebrig, I do really love this pattern. I'm really excited for it. I think it's a great sort of getting ready for fall and winter and all those great things. So it is the featured pattern for this week and will be 20% off on Ravelry. No coupon required until, let me read this, Friday, September 26th, midnight Atlantic Standard Time. So yeah, so I hope you like it. Happy knitting. It's a great one. It's fun. Really easy. Great TV watching. Anyways, I really, really, really like my knits to be fun and to be easy and not stressful and not complicated and not fussy and fiddly. It's just, that to me is just not a fun knit, because I like to watch a show or listen to a book, an audiobook, or I don't know, daydream. And if it's simple enough, then I'm happy. But not too simple because then I'm bored. So there's a fine line. Anyways, so I hope you like it. Clebrig. It's a fun one. Magpie Fibers is great, but really, honestly, any other worsted weight yarn you have. And because not much is needed for the yoke colors, like Stash is great for that too. So highly recommend. So what else have I done? It's funny. I usually have 3 projects on the go at any one time, and quite often they kind of all come together at once. So that happened again this time. So these socks that I thought looked kind of like skates over the shoulder, like that. But anyways, this is the Rib Vault socks by Stephen West. I've talked about them so much because they took so long to finish, and no reason why, but just me. I go through phases of like, oh, I just want to sit down and knit a sock, and then there'll be weeks where, yeah, not for me, rather a sweater or something else. So these took forever, but I really like them, and I did totally modify the pattern. I only used this sort of 2-inch section here of the pattern. The rest is sort of my own cobbled together thing. This is great here. I did block them. I don't always block socks, but the reason I blocked it is because this is like a smocking stitch and it will pull it together, and I was very worried that I wouldn't get over my heel. So I wet blocked it and put it on the blockers, and I think that kind of just helped give it some stretch. I was worried that I might have needed to have gone up a needle size for this section or added stitches. I think Stephen West does suggest you add stitches, but I know I'm a lot tighter knitter than Stephen is. So anyways, it worked out in the end. Trust the pattern. I think that's the rule. And it does seem to work. So yeah, so the smocking section, really fun, really easy. Stephen West is amazing at finding these incredible stitches that look so complicated, but when you actually go to do it, they're quite simple, and you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I was worried, or, whatever. And also, it's just so deceptive. He's such a brilliant mind. And whether he finds things in stitch dictionaries or comes up with it on its own, or a mixture of the two, just brilliant. Really, really brilliant. I'm really looking forward to his mystery knit along coming up. Anyways, but yeah, so the Stitch Vault socks, I just knit this part. I think this is supposed to have like 3 sections to make it quite long. This is kind of the leg length that I'm into right now. And like I said before, there was this smocking portion over the foot, the upper foot section, and I just didn't want that texture in my shoes. So yeah, I think they're really pretty. Love the yarn. The yarn is from Cake Wool. The base is called Whisk, and the colorway, I don't know, it was unnamed, but I bought it last year at Cake Palooza, and love it. So glad to have been able to use it. Maybe I'll wear them to Cake Palooza this year. I'm excited to go. I'm so excited for everything fall. And I'm so happy to be sitting here in a sweater, even though I'm totally kidding myself, but it feels so good to have so much lovely fabric on. So fall, please, yes, now. So that's great. And then the third thing, like I said, I usually work with 3 things on the needles. The third thing that came off was this Diamante shawl. And this is a design by SweaterFreak. I put tassels on the end. I just thought it needed it. I don't always put tassels when they even call for tassels. So for some reason, I felt like it needed it. This is a great pattern. I started this when we were on the airplane going to take my son up to university in Canada at the University of Waterloo, and he picked the colors for me, which is really fun. So it was a great project while we were up there in our Airbnb, chilling out between orientation events and stuff like that, shopping runs to Walmart and all those good things. Yeah, so this is a really, really, really fun pattern. I would highly recommend it. I did use a Spincycle yarn for the dark, and I used a speckled yarn for the light. So the contrast in the diamonds is maybe not as great as many other people who have knit this pattern. I'm totally okay with it. I think it's really pretty. I like how there's sort of purple sections, red sections, blue sections, etc. But it's also such a striking pattern if you do like a black and a white. It's a really, really lovely. It's a slip stitch pattern, mosaic knitting. It's one of those beautiful patterns. Triangles and diamonds are really amazing because they in themselves really lend themselves to getting larger, because you basically have this one line widening here and the pattern follows through. similar to the mid-ocean tee that I showed you last week, which is an old pattern of mine with the diamond motif in the yoke. The diamond motif follows the increased line of the raglan, just like this does here, of the increase in the shawl along that one side. And it's really quite spectacular. And for me, that sort of is just so satisfying. It's a beautifully charted pattern, and honestly, you can just use the chart. It makes total sense. And I'm not explaining that well, but for some reason, a chart that works so perfectly mathematically in a pattern from start to finish, I find so satisfying aesthetically and design-wise and everything like that. And this really does tick the boxes. So SweaterFreak, amazing. Her other knits that I've seen recently, I know Dinah from the Knitting Loft has had, I'll just face you to talk to you because I think it gets really muffled. Dinah from the Knitting Loft has had a bunch of her knits as a trunk show. So do watch her podcast too for information more on other designs from the SweaterFreak. Really, really talented. So love that. Oh, and I didn't tell you the yarns for this. So I said Spincycle, and I believed it's Bruised Ego. And the other yarn is from a New Brunswick, Canada dyer named, Lichen and Lace. Pardon me, just totally blanked. So this is Lichen and Lace, 1-ply superwash merino fingering color pressed flowers. So yeah. And it's funny, I was definitely working in a palette, and that was really satisfying. So yeah, so that's that. Plus the skirt, this and the skirt. And I have actually, back to skirts, I have ordered more yarn. Not yarn, it's not yarn, it's fabric. I've ordered more fabric, and I'm excited to keep on with the skirts. And because they're so simple and they use pretty much no fabric at all, I'm kind of thinking it'd be really fun to have skirts to match new sweaters as I work on them. That's going to be fun. And so in that thought, when I bought this fabric, I thought it'd be really fun with this too. So we'll have to see. So this is on my needles now. This is another version of the Ride the Wave tee or top. It's not a tee, it's a long sleeve top. This will be coming out eventually. I'm just knitting the second one. I'm going to be doing the test call. The pattern's all ready for the test call, which will happen next week, I'm thinking. So if you're on the test call list, or if you'd like to be on the test call list, email me at knit@bmid.bm, and I'll put you on that list. And if you're on the list and you're interested in this, do look out for that email. I'm thinking it'll come out on Monday. Anyways, obviously this isn't blocked because it's got a lot of sort of ripples and everything like that in the fabric, which isn't totally ideal. But once you knit it and then you block it, it smooths out beautifully. My first one did, so I'm very confident this one will as well. The concept for this is it's a top-down kind of contiguous, or all the increases are in the shoulders. And then I'm now on the flat front and back for the sleeve opening. So the sleeve opening's here. I think I've got maybe 2 more repeats until I join, until I go to the back, do the same, and then join in the round for the body. I'm using an old Shawl pattern, very simple here for the motif running through, which is sort of the wave motif. Old Shawl is wonderful. It's, I think it's a traditional Shetland stitch pattern, used a lot in the Shetland haps, shawls. It's really lovely. It's very simple. It's very satisfying, and it's really effective, I think. And the yarn that I'm using, again, I'm still on this gradient yarn that will change colors. This is Spincycle, and the colorway is Rosy Maple. What a great name. So I love how that will work with the main fabric, which is Lanero Secretos. I found this yarn, and it was really the color. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but it's another sort of glazing where you can see purple and you can see pink and you can see orange and yellow, sort of all in the different layers of this yarn. This I found when I was traveling a couple of years ago in Texas with my family, and we went to Hill Country Weavers, and wow, what a special shop that is. So that was one of my souvenirs, and it just pairs beautifully with this. So the Spincycle starting up here with sort of a pale purple lavender and seems to be moving into sort of quite a dark blue. So we'll see where that ends up. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's a fingering weight project. I think it's 26 stitches per 4 inches. I love the feel when I'm knitting fast and I'm really into it and really have the knitting groove going. I have to say this is my favorite. The larger knits, I find them, I enjoy it. Worsted weight is great, but I do slow down. I've even got one that's a 12 stitch knit, 12 stitch per 4 inches, and that was really, I'll have to say, I was very slowed down in that. I find that very kind of cumbersome and clunky, and it takes me a while to get a rhythm in it, but I do absolutely love this 26 stitch gauge. For the different gauges for the stockinette versus the old Shawl pattern, I've had to change needles to keep the same gauge. So up here it's like a 3.25, a US 3.25 millimeter needle. And then down here for the pattern, it's a US 5, which is a 3.75. So you do have to change needles to get, in the end, a relatively similar width throughout. And that's really cool. So yeah, so here's the yarn. And I think they look really spectacular together. So we'll see if that'll come through as it does. So I'm really excited about that one. That one is actively on the needles. I've really gone through so much that I need to start casting on. And I know I've talked about this before, but I don't love casting on. It's like starting a new book. Am I going to like it? Do I like the yarn? Is my idea going to work out? So I'm always a little hesitant. Like I love when you just get into it and it's just so yummy and juicy and good. Anyways, so I do need to cast on some more things. But the one thing that is, I haven't officially got on the finished objects, but I haven't officially not finished it. Like I'm not actively knitting on it. Is this one. This is, I believe, my 4th version of another design that's currently being test knitted. And it's just a really, really, really simple, oh, there's the back, bottom up construction. So you can put so much on it. It's a basic construction I've been playing with for a while. Bottom up drop sleeve shoulder sweater. Now, I had every intention of adding sleeves on this one. And in this pattern, Mayamba, there's lots of options. There's split hem options. There are sleeved options. There's cowl neck, turtleneck versus crew neck options. And I can't remember what else, but it's sort of like a really basic pattern. I love it because I think it's really fun to mix a bunch of yarns together to create a fabric. So that's what I've done in all 4 of them. And when it comes closer to the date of releasing this pattern, I'll go through all 4 with you and explain it more and more and what I've done and stuff like that. But I'm really thinking that this sort of, especially for a Rhinebeck, would be amazing because it's sleeveless and I can see a button-down shirt and a nice skirt, and that just being perfect for all the weather. I have done 2 sets of short rows. The pattern has short rows here, but I've added also short rows right along the hem as well because I really wanted the high-low hem, a very exaggerated version of that. I could add sleeve cuffs in the pink, but I really want to try it on first with like outfits because I think it would actually be prettier for this one if the arms just flowed right into a cream-colored sort of canvas denim-y button-down. That's sort of my concept rather than having like it framed with another pink fluffy border. The other thing I'm totally tempted to do on the back, like across, sorry, see if I can get it just to stay for a second. Yeah, across here is to do sort of a shape like this in embroidery. I know I've talked about these things before, and I get kind of paralyzed with decision fatigue and fear of trying, but I really think this would really lend it to something here, like floral, or on the front, maybe a little floral piece here. The fabric is very loose, so I'm a little worried about seeing the threads through to the front side and whether that would be a distraction. Because it's quite beautiful as it is. I mean, I love, love, love how these yarns have played and come together like this. So I'll talk about the yarn. At Vogue Knitting last January, I spent as much time as I could. It was really busy, I should say, at the stand for the La Bien Aimee, which I think was at the Brooklyn General stand, and picked out, let me just make sure, yeah, I always get Alex and Helix and Felix, but this is Helix, and it's this color. It's called Vintage Grello, and it was really pretty in the skein as well. Beautiful like this, but you can see all the different colors in there. There's everything from pinks and greens, like Amy's perfect pinks and her perfect greens with some grays and some really deep blues, and it's just a spectacular color. And at the same time, I thought this La Bien Aimee Kumo color Fiori would look great with that. So for the body of the sweater, let me just move this. So for the body here, I've held 3 strands of Felix and 1 strand of Kumo, and that's created this here. And I purposely hadn't started the hem. I applied the hem after and the collar, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, whether I wanted it to be the same color throughout. And then as I was working on it, oh shoot, making a tangle. I saw this on my shelf, and this is, and I don't know where I got these, but they're spectacular. It's Qing Fiber. Oh gosh, the yarn's really Qing Fiber in, where's the tag? Because I haven't written down what it is because I couldn't, it was downstairs. It was upstairs and I was downstairs. So Qing Fiber in Melted Suri, color Bone. I have no idea where I got this, but it was on my shelf and it was perfect. And so I used that for the neckband, held 2 strands of this that doubled and 1 strand of this for the neckband. And I love it. You might think, why did you bother holding the Kumo with it? But it creates some sort of shadows and some splotches of the golden hues and stuff like that throughout, which I think further ties it in with the body. So while I don't have this as a finished object listed yet, it could be a finished object. I could add embroidery. I could add sleeves. I've got the yarn. That was the initial intention. I don't think I will. I really think this is going to be a spectacular vest. I could add a trim, and I could even just leave it like this for now and see what I do in the future. So stay tuned. So that design is called Mayamba, and like I said, this is being it's been tech edited a long time ago, actually in the spring, but it's being test knit now, and this will come out mid-November. And so before its release in mid-November, I will have all of them somehow around, all 4, to talk about the different options and the different yarns and what I used from my stash to put together to create the yardage, because I think this is a great stash buster. You could even do it sort of like marled multicolored, where you're really using lots of little smaller amounts of yarn, diving, larger amounts, lots of textures. There's one that I knit with Chelsea Luxe with a really boucle yarn, which is really cool. So that created another texture. Anyways, it's a great, loose, boxy, large stitch, be creative pattern coming to you soon. So that's kind of it. I've talked to you about what I'm working on. And so yeah, so I really need to cast on some things. And I did a little reorganization in my studio area, and I've got cubbies of what is to cast on next. So it's really easy. So I'm going to take one of the cubbies out. I've got the pattern thoughts or the design concept, and I just need to carry on with that. So I need to do that. I have to say in the last the last month, I've really enjoyed knitting off of either my pattern or someone else's pattern. I wasn't in the mindset to be totally creative and come up with a new pattern, where now I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready to dive in again. And so I've been playing around the computer with some other ideas too. So the creativity is percolating. So just to end off what I've been up to, it's been great being back in Bermuda after quite a lot of travel this summer. I'm looking forward to it cooling off, like I said. My friend Helen, who I saw in when I was in Ontario, she actually lives in Ontario and also is back and forth because she's Bermudian. So she's here visiting family, and we went for an amazing walk. And Helen told me when I saw her in Ontario that I have not done enough Bermuda content. So Helen and I on Sunday, we went for a walk at her end of the island, which is the east end of the island. I'm in the kind of central west, but in the east end of the island, where she grew up, and we went and wandered around Tom Moore's jungle, which officially is called Walsingham Nature Reserve, but it's just known as Tom Moore's jungle, and it's fabulous. And so I put some videos together of our walks and our chats, and it's really casual, and the chit chat is a little bit rambly, and it's kind of sliced and diced together a little bit strangely. I'm definitely not like a documentarian or anything like that, but I think it's interesting because you'll hear a bit of local lore, and you'll hear a bit of, the nature. Helen's really knowledgeable about Bermuda and its flora, and how, things have evolved over time and how it works and everything like that. It's fascinating. The east end of the island is quite different from this part. The east end has a lot of, it's apparently the oldest part of the island geologically. And so it has a lot of caves, and it's got a lot of sort of different plants and different, like the mangrove. We don't really have any mangrove swamps or mangrove patches in this part of the island because we've got the beaches here, sort of the classically looking beaches. And I've got like the Atlantic Ocean right there, and then you've got the harbor over that side. But with her, it's a bit more sheltered with Castle Harbor. We've got the caves. The caves are amazing. There's caves throughout the whole island, but a lot down the east end, and there's a lot of really amazing old stories about the caves. So we'll go through a few caves. One cave, which was really beautiful, for some reason my camera didn't record. I thought I was recording, so I'll have to go back. That's easy. I'll do that another day and spend more time at this one cave. That's really spectacular. Yeah, and I hope you enjoy it. So it's a little bit cut and spliced and chit chat, and it was a really fun day. It started to rain at the end. We got really muddy, and it was just lovely. It was really lovely. We really had a lot of fun just wandering around. Got a little lost. It's amazing how it's not a huge part of land, but you can really turn yourself around in a bit of a dense forest. And it is an older part of the island. It was the first inhabited part of the island. So you'll see there's the Tom Moore's Tavern, and it dates back to the late 1600s. So it's the oldest running tavern, I think, in the Western Hemisphere. So there's a frame of that with a date on it. I think it was originally called Walsingham Tavern when I looked it up, but then was renamed Tom Moore's Tavern. It's a great restaurant, beautiful restaurant now, and has been a restaurant all my life. In the natural ponds down in that end of the island, they used to have dolphin shows and all sorts of things. So check it out. I hope you enjoy. Other than that, I'll be back in 2 weeks. Happy knitting. Get exciting. If you're in the northern part, I hope you're getting excited for fall and sweater weather and all those good things. I know I am. Fall's not going to come for a while. I'm hoping to be able to turn off the air conditioning by the end of September. But it's really fun to get excited about, and it's fun to sit here in a sweater. I think I might just sit in the sweater inside in the air conditioning for the rest of the afternoon editing this video. So that's what I'm going to do. Get a warm tea, pretend to be cozy, and bring on all the fall feels. So I hope you do too, and happy knitting, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay, bye. But it is amazing to think that these mangroves are just growing in like sand, like a beach, like because when I look at the ones in Spanish Point, it's more swamp, so it made more sense to me. Like it would be getting off of all the black matter, green matter.
We've got black and red. Black grows back from in swampy sort of areas.
Right.
The red grows right into the water. This is red. It's called red because if you scrape the bark underneath, it's red.
Wow.
And it's got the buttress roots, which is what protects all the coastline.
Amazing. So
And hangy bits, the long ones that hanging down, those are nematophores, and that's how it gets its oxygen, because the roots are in the water. You've also got the two tiny little hangy bits that you can see there with the brown tip at the bottom. That's their seed. Their seed germinates on the plant before it drops. And it drops right down into the mud or whatever's underneath. So it self-plants and it's already growing.
amazing.
There's the seed. And this is already sprouted.
So will it grow down or will it just drop off?
It's pretty close to it, so it's ready to go. So you would...
Oh, right. So the spore would just
fall. And
yeah.
if it's soft enough, it probably might not do it, but it plants itself.
Right.
So it should like do it. So it's planted itself.
Oh, neat. A what? Oh, yeah. We don't have the same amount of crabs as I remember.
Oh, the big orange crabs?
Well, the ones that used to be on the roads. You know?
Oh, no, those because they brought in those night herons.
So did they intentionally bring the night
Yes.
herons in?
Yeah, so David Wingate brought them to Nonsuch to start with.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah, but down there you can kind of see.
yeah. So these are black mangroves. So if you look down on the floor, it's got pokey up bits all in the coming out. Those are its nematophores because that's how it breeds. Because if it was on the shore, of course, it's going to keep getting washed over. Whereas here in mucky swamp, it's fine. Now this will flood though.
Yes, yeah. But it would still be fairly
It's
stagnant.
consistent.
Yeah.
A thing that went across, and at the back were two pens where they kept two koi dolphins. And then the actual show is right here.
It's not very deep.
It's pretty deep.
Is it?
It's deeper than you think it is. So one of the jumping spots is here where you see
Right.
it's all, and then there's another one further back there, and then you see this point up here.
Yeah.
They jump off of that one too.
And you grew up probably swimming in this water.
Well, the dolphins were in.
Oh, right. But what about at the other one over there? The other pool? The one that's sort of semi-underground?
Yeah, no, we didn't swim in them.
Yeah.
No.
We have friends that come down here. Oh, right.
So they believe this was actually a cave and the roof collapsed. So now you have the pond and it's got a a saltwater entrance over through at the back there. So there are fish in here.
Cool.
In fact, somebody wrote there's a kid's book about this. I think it was Debbie Jones that wrote it, I think.
Okay. It's so beautiful. It looks like your own little private...
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Paddle.
And you could swim in here, but I have swum in here, but it gets a bit murky and it's hard to get out. Oh, and a slippery deck. There's the bream with the big black dog.
Yeah. When I was a kid, my grandparents would get me out of the house, send me down to the fish pond in Point Shares with a fishing rod.
Oh, perfect.
and I'd go down there, and being a city kid, I'd catch fish, and then I'd have to stop all the men coming home on their bikes at the end of the day to get the damn fish off my... But it would only be these little sergeant majors, and I wouldn't touch them.
Oh, really?
And so it was total catch and release, and so I'd sit there with a hook in the water until
somebody came to rescue
somebody came
the fish.
by. But it was always harder to, because back in the day, the ladies would drive cars with their families. It was harder to pull over a car.
All right.
But the men coming home on their Bermuda shorts
Scooters.
and on their scooters, and I could usually get them to pull over, and yeah, I know.
Point.
I don't want this fish. Yeah. They're really...
I think somebody feeds them. Must be.
Yeah, look, they're coming this way. It's actually really beautiful in the camera.
Is it?
Yeah.
You've got grunts, you've got breams, damselfish, cow pollies, you've got a slippery dick there.
Is the slippery dick the kind of
Or is he a
mustard
pudding
color?
wife? No, I'm looking at this one. That's the pudding wife, maybe? Or
Oh, the one that almost...
The
that's an angel
colorful
fish?
one there.
Yeah.
I never get the names all right, but
Yeah.
because people tell you the name and then it's not the right one, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
It's all like legends and lores.
A little snapper here, the black on top of his fin.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The grunts, the yellow grunts. The damselfish are painted necks. The damselfish are the little blacky gold ones.
I love that. That's what I was
With
looking at.
look,
Really
his
pretty.
face is quite blue as well. See
Yeah.
his face?
Really pretty. It's a pretty shape.
They're quite territorial.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the butterfly fishes down there.
Oh, I saw it. Just scooted off. Two.
Yeah,
Wow, they're performing.
they are. So over there used to be somewhere a calabash tree. I don't even know if it's still there or what, but that's where Tom Moore used to sit apparently and write his poetry.
I have to look up Tom Moore's what's famous, because like I was saying,
he had
at a
some, it's old.
it's old, but it seemed very relevant when I was just out of university.
Oh, really?
And now it seems less on top of my mind.
So,
Yeah.
This crap that's gonna invasive stuff is gonna ruin it.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I love the ferns and
It's just so amazing. It's hard to...
can you get a picture?
I'm trying. I'm like trying to scoop up like the shadows and the shapes, but it's...
Go down, bend your knees a bit. Yeah, there you go. Look up. Yeah, there you go.
maybe smaller. Hard to see. Such a cool place. So look at these stalactites hanging on. What was the expression, Helen, with the stalactites?
So
With the
stalactites. The C for in the beginning is for ceiling, and the tights I'll tell you in a second, and stalagmites that come up from the ground.
which is one there, but it's in the dark. You can't see it. Oh, there we go.
G for ground.
Yeah.
And then the little saying is for the ending syllable, it's as the mites go up, the tights come down.
And let's see. Oh, you can kind of see. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, it's like over here too. It's like cool.
Yeah.
So this was part of our birthday party.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dad